Okay, welcome to another Autodesk Inventor video from Mr. Esterbrook. So here's the completed part that we're going to be modeling. Here's the drawing that you're working from, and remember the scale is a 1/4 inch for each grid. So to get your dimensions, you're going to count up the grids and multiply times a scale of 0.25. So there's the finished part, but I'm going to show you how to model this from scratch because it is kind of a difficult piece. So it's inches, so we want to use the English Standard IPT template. You can ignore if you get the style conflict message. Always name the part, axle mount. So if we break this part down into its simpler components, you can do this in basically 2 prisms and then a cylinder. So I call those components the base, the pedestal, and the cylinder. So let's start with the base. To model the base, I like to use the 2-point center rectangle. I click in the center and now just put in the dimensions. I believe it's 2 by 1.5, but again, always check my dimensions against the drawing. And the depth of that extrusion is, I believe, is 0.5. So there's the base, and again, if we look at it in the right orientation, that would be the base. For your next sketch, the component, the pedestal, do a sketch on the top of the base. It's probably easiest to use the 2-point rectangle. Make sure you snap to the edge when making the rectangle so that it's already constrained. Now we're going to need to put some dimensions on this and constrain this. We're going to need 2 size dimensions representing the size of this rectangle. Whoops, not 0.05, I think it's 0.5. And then we're going to also need 1 location dimension. In other words, where is this located? It's in the center of this, so we need to locate it in the center. There's a couple ways we can do that. In fact, you could put a location dimension from here to the edge, right? But I always prefer geometric constraints. We're going to cancel that. Geometric constraints allow you to make the midpoint of that line directly above the center of the original rectangle. And that's more efficient because if for some reason you made a mistake in any of the geometry or in the modeling of the base, using a geometric constraint will allow that to fix itself when you change the dimension, when you fix the dimension. So here's the sketch for my pedestal. I'm going to extrude that. And what we want that to do is we want that pedestal to go up to the center of the cylinder, the center of these 2 circles here. So that, I believe, works out to be a height of 1.75. But again, always check my dimensions. Now you can see it's starting to come together. The next thing we want to do is that cylinder in the top. We'll take care of those holes later. So to draw this, to model the cylinder, start with the sketch on the surface of the pedestal. And now this is again where you need to carefully watch your cues. Choose a circle tool. Make sure you snap to the midpoint of that line. You can see my cursor, the little green ball, a little green dot there. That's where I want to click. Then I want to move over and carefully watch it snap to the edge, the corner of that. Watch for the little green ball again, then click there. And you'll notice if you do that correctly, you get a fully constrained circle. You don't need to put in any dimensions. We finished that sketch. Now I'm going to use the extrusion tool with the symmetric option. Notice pretty much everything we've done prior to this part, we've only extruded in one direction. But in fact, we can use direction 1, direction 2, or symmetric. That'll extrude in both directions. Okay? That's what we want if you did the sketch where I did it. This is not the only way to do it, but again, if you're having trouble and you want to model this accurately, you can follow along. So a couple things. Notice it's red. That means we have the cut option selected, so I need to fix that. And also the depth of the extrusion is 1 inch, so that it goes 1/2 inch to the back and then 1/2 inch to the front. Make sure, again, follow your cues. I can tell it's in the cut option because it's highlighted in red. So I go up here, I select the join option for additive modeling, and then now it's green, and I know that's pretty much what I want. So I'm good there. Okay, so now you can see we're coming along. If I compare it to the completed one, you see that we're getting really close. We just need to put in those holes, and then lastly, those fillets. At this point, you should have 3 extrusions, no more than 3. The base, the pedestal, and the cylinder. We can now go about adding the holes. So I'm going to start with the big hole in the cylinder, and this is pretty straightforward. Circle, lock it to the origin. We want a diameter, I believe, of 1/2 inch. And then you'll notice it's green. This is a great opportunity to use the concentric constraint. Just pick the concentric constraint tool, choose the green circle and the outermost edge of the cylinder. Finish that. We're done. We're going to extrude. You may need to choose that circle. Notice it's defaulting to the join or additive option. We want to cut that. And again, whenever we're making a through hole, do not use a distance. Always use the through all option. So if you made a mistake in the depth of that extrusion of the cylinder, this through all will automatically adjust the hole depth when you fix the cylinder extrusion. So again, getting really close. 2 more holes on the base, and it's hard to tell from this isometric view, but once you've modeled this part a bunch of times, it becomes obvious that the center of those 2 holes are actually right in line with what looks like the corner of this cylinder. So the easiest way to do this is pick your circle tool. If you, again, watch your cues, find where the cursor snaps onto the corner of that, click there. Our diameter is 0.5 inch, and then there you are. Now it might not have snapped on there for me. There, I might have missed that one. So if it missed and it didn't get constrained to that corner, then you need to fix that. Also, notice I put in a dimension for both of those. You don't really need to do that, because if you fail to put in a dimension, you can always, I'm going to make sure I latch onto that one. Well, you know what? You can always, I'll fix that later. You can always use the equals constraint to make those 2 circles equal diameter. Now, so most kids will have this problem where now these circles can move around. If you did get them lined up, then they'll be constrained so that they won't move around. But you may find that, see, like that one, it's moving around on me. Okay, so I need to make sure that those 2 circles are aligned. And the best way to do that is to use the horizontal alignment tool, see my little yellow dotted line, to align the center of that with the center of that. And now you notice they're both purple with only one dimension, just the diameter of that circle. We're going to finish that, cut those 2. Now you may need to select the profile. Once there's more than one profile, you always have to click the profile that you want to extrude. We want the cut option. Again, these are through holes. It would be silly to drill that far through when we only need to go all the way through and stop. So the way we specify that is use the through all instead of a distance. We finish that, and now we're getting close. We're getting real close. All we need to do now is the fillets. So at this point, you should have no more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 extrusions. The last step is to add those fillets, and we do that with the fillet tool. We can add all the fillets in one fillet feature, but there are different radii for the 2 fillets. So first we're going to add the rounds, right? That one and that one are 1/4 inch. Then we're going to add the second one, those fillets in the back between the base and the pedestal, and those are 1/2 inch radii. So click that, click that. Now we've got all 4 fillets. Apply, and we're done with that. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fillets. 5 extrusions, 1 fillet, and that finishes the axle mount part. Thanks for watching.